Alright, so I'm going to show you guys how I do Zaphod's cleaning every day. Daily cleaning is really important for the Persians because, as you can see, even after only 24 hours, he's already gotten a bit wet. Over time, these stains can build up and they can cause, on light-colored cats, really bad staining, but on Persians of any color, it can actually build up and cause bacteria, which can lead to infections in the eye area, ulcers, etc. So I'm starting by using the Eye Envy Tear Stain Removal Solution, which is all natural. It's got witch hazel, colloidal silver, which are antibacterial, and they're interesting little cotton pads, which aren't actually cotton, so they don't leave any fluff in the eye. So I'm just going to saturate it, gently wipe, pulling the eyelid up a little bit so I can get into the cracks. You always want to wipe above the eye because I find they get a lot of staining in this little spot above the tear duct. Below, just gently manipulating the face, doing the other eye, just holding his chin up so I can actually see him, just brushing away from the hair and with the hair just to move any dried clumps. I'm then going to do his chin. A lot of boy cats, especially younger boys who eat raw food or lots of wet food, can get really dirty chins, and Zaphod is no exception. So he gets these black stains on his chin, which can lead to hot spots, acne, even something called a rodent ulcer, which eventually, if not treated, can eat away at the lips and skin. So that's bad. But if you clean it up, get the bacteria out of the way every day, it won't be such an issue. Alright, so then I'm going to take a little flea comb. You can see these with this kind of handle, but you can also see them with like a toothbrush handle. I'm just going to use that to comb his chin. He doesn't always like it coming right at his chin. He's like, oh, my chin is sensitive. But if you don't brush the hair and get the clumps of dirt out, you can't be good for the next step. So I'm just going to comb his cheeks, and while I'm at it, comb his forehead, because being a Persian, he even sheds on his forehead. Oh, yeah, he's still got a bit of a goo there. Yeah, he's a tabby, so he has naturally darker red areas around his eye skin than a white Persian would have. So it can kind of make it a little bit trickier. Like, okay, am I looking at a stain? Am I looking at wetness? Am I looking at hair? There's another little black bit there. He also has freckles on his lips, which is super cute. You can see one right there. A lot of redheads have them, and they actually get darker as they get older. Anyway, so my next step, I'm going to take the Eye Envy Pro Powder Brush, which is really dense, and tap it into their eye powder. Eye powdering is a technique that Eye Envy has sort of brought to the public. Cat show people have been using it for a really long time. It helps with preventing bacteria. So what I'm doing is I'm pressing the powder into the hair against the direction of the fur. You want to make sure that it's going to stop the bacteria from forming, and just keep that area nice and dry. On a white Persian, this is also really good for cosmetics, so on the Himmies who have much lighter faces, it'll help keep their faces looking nice and light. That's not so much of a concern on Zaphod. So just pressing it in. It's kind of okay if it gets a little clumpy, because I'm going to comb it out afterwards anyway. Just getting above the eye. This powder is all natural and nice and safe, so even if it gets a little bit in the eye, it's so finely milled and it's got no antibiotics or steroids in it, so it's not going to add anything to the eye that is unhealthy. Just taking my comb again, just gonna gently comb through the powder. Sometimes if I've really had to scrub his face, I'll actually take another cotton pad, or not cotton pad, and dry his face. But I didn't have to use so much solution today that I needed to do that. So just combing through. Still have to powder his chin, and that is pretty important. Again, the powder helps stop the bacteria, the oil production, all those things which can cause our Persians to look kind of unsightly and like I said, can cause health problems as well. It's not just about aesthetics. So I'm not actually wrenching his head back. I am just sort of holding him gently using the jawbone and letting him lean his head back into me. He's trying to bite the comb a little bit as I'm cleaning his chin, so that's always a little confusing for him. There is another product that INB has that I don't use on a day-to-day basis, which is the Tear Stain Facial Cleanser. This I use in the bath because it requires the chin to be fully wet, and that's a bit of a pain on a daily basis with the Persians. So for my next step, I'm going to comb him. I'm going to take a conditioning spray. This is just a random one I had in my house, but any grooming spray, conditioning spray, even a human product such as Infusium, as long as you have to be careful it doesn't have dangerous essential oils like tea tree, which can be problematic for cats. This one I think has mink and jojoba. So I'm just going to spray that from above and work it into the hair. Whoop. Yeah. And then going to pick up my comb, which is the standard Greyhound comb with thin and wide teeth. Using the thin side, I'm going to comb his chin. The grooming spray helps counteract static and it adds moisture to the coat, which is really important as we're going into winter because they get really big coat in winter and it can be really dry. And the drier the coat is, the more likely it is to break. So I'm gently combing his chest area here, looking for mats. This is why I'm using the thin side here because this is where I know he can get little mats in between his armpits. So gently. There we go. I think there's a couple of little ones. His are really loose, so I can just comb them through without him getting mad at me. But if you've got a cat with really dense mats, it can be a lot trickier for sure. Yeah, so now he's licking himself because when I groom him, he thinks he's grooming himself because he's a very intelligent and smart boy. And then just doing behind the ears. Behind the ears is another place they can get a lot of mats. Taking off the hair, starting with the big end, and working my way back with the coat. Just gently combing. Most Persians are really unlikely to have mats along this back area. It's where they've got their smoothest hair. And gently combing through his wiggly tail. I'm going to turn him around now and work a little bit under his belly. Some of my other cats will let me stand them up and do that, but not really safe. So I'll show what I'll do for his back end. So I get my hand under his hips, lift his back legs, and just comb down his leggies. So I can also see his bum, and it's a little gross today. Thanks, Safe. This is a thing you do have to do. You've got to make sure you look at them every day. Make sure they don't have any danglers or anything. This area can also be where they get a lot of mats. So I'm just holding him open, combing the inside of his legs. He's very thrilled. All right. Hi, show everyone how pretty you are, Zafy. He's like, I am done, lady. Say bye.